Five Nights at Freddy's. Oh man, here we go. One of the things I love about internet culture is the communities that spawn from it. But there's always been one community in particular that has always piqued my interest, and it has to be, at least in my opinion, one of the most important communities in all of gaming. Almost as important as you hitting that subscribe button to join us on our path to 300 YouTube subscribers. Nah, but seriously, I wouldn't call myself an active member, more so a passive viewer, but I thought what better community to look into than the one that went from a basic point-and-click Steam game dropped in 2014 to getting its own movie not even a week ago, at least as of this recording. So sit back and relax and let's talk about Five Nights at Freddy's. Horror games in general aren't a normal genre I spend a lot of time in, more so because I scare really easily. Even now, if I go watch one of my personal favorite shows, Ghost Adventures, I can't watch too much or I'll get almost absolutely zero sleep. I wish I was lying. But after I discovered Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy, I was hooked pretty fast. And between MatPat and music on the game I found at the time, and even to this day, bangers like the Living Tombstone's Five Nights at Freddy's 1 song, a track that even made it into the credits of the most recent movie to one of my newest favorites, Stuck in Your Ruin by Give Hearts Records, or Nate Wants to Battle if you remember that name. But with an amazing community like this one, I've been able to, albeit loosely, follow the story of Five Nights at Freddy's. So here's the short version for all of you who somehow have never heard of the series. To make a long story, and I do mean long story short, you work as a security guard at the old and run-down Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria, where your goal is to survive 5 to 6 nights as you fight off the crew from reaching your office via closing doors and keeping track of them on the cameras, all while managing your power, as it sometimes can and will run out before 6 a.m. hits. It's a glorified point and click, at least for the first few games, that works off jump scares, and pretty damn good ones, might I add. The original game came out in 2014 on August the 8th, and ever since then, 8 mainline games have come out after it. Of course, you have FNAF 1 through 4, then to be followed by Sister Location in 2016, Pizzeria Simulator in 2017, Help Wanted in an AR Special Delivery in 2019, with Security Breach in 2021. Now, while I haven't played any of the future FNAF titles, I have watched them through some of my favorite YouTubers, Presidentsplayhorrorgames as an example, which, side note, comedy as we know it lives and dies with that channel. Damn near pissed myself laughing more than once. But in essence, the story of FNAF, at least to my very basic understanding, works something like this. Mind you, this is for the 1st through 4th game. As it follows, in the initial game, players take on the role of a night security guard at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, only to discover that when the sun sets and midnight begins, Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy come to life and fight to make it into your office, with the second game being a prequel to the first, showcasing the bite of 83 or 87, depending on how you look at it. Hey, don't sue me, I'm trying my best here. The series then jumps forward in time to FNAF 3 that takes place in a maze of horrors built around the tragic history of Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria and the kids that went missing, because nothing sells better than a tragedy, as you go toe-to-toe with Springtrap. And finally, the 4th game, facing off the same crew from FNAF 1, but instead the nightmare versions of the characters. This story's all over the place, at least from my point of view. Now, if there's anything to know about me, I'm a huge nerd for lore and video games. Cyberpunk 2077, Fallout, The Elder Scrolls, Assassin's Creed, even Ark, just to name a few. The more lore, the better, but Five Nights at Freddy's takes video game lore to the absolute extreme. Between multiple Easter eggs, some found within the game files itself, mini games, and even others by unlocking specific endings. And this is just the games. Not only are there 9 mainline games, but you also got a multiple, and I do mean multiple, different books and stories, and all of this because William Afton over here, aka Springtrap, thought it'd be funny going stuffing dead kids into suits for shits and giggles. But you know, even though this is all his fault, 100%, dude's an ass. You know, there's one animatronic out of all of them, and I do mean all of them, that truly scares me, that I don't understand, that just doesn't seem to scare others, and that's Ballora. I'm gonna be honest, man, she scares the shit out of me. FNAF and jump scares are 1-to-1, but it's in the depths of Sister Location where I draw the line. See, Sister Location has you enjoying a brand new cast of maniac robots, Funtime Freddy, Funtime Foxy, Circus Baby, and Ballora. Ballora. Now look, I gotta start here. Her design looks absolutely incredible, and in broad daylight where she's very clearly visible, she isn't that scary. I mean, hell, she only stands at 6.2. Hard to be scared of something at eye level. But once the lights turn off, it's a completely different story. During the game, one of the areas has you crawling through her room in pitch darkness in the middle of the night with almost zero noise until she starts singing her oh so lovely tunes. Here, listen for yourself.
All I see is an empty room, no more joy, an empty tomb.
And then, if that's not bad enough, if you fuck it up, you instantly get met with... Now, apparently, she can't see and works off sound. The lore is great. I love it. But can you imagine? It's pitch darkness, and there you are attempting to walk down a hallway, and a voice booms throughout the room. And then 5 seconds later... Nah, man, I'm good. I don't have the mental fortitude to deal with that more than once. And speaking of lore, because I gotta ask, how do you keep this story in one piece? Like, okay, from the top, William Afton, aka Asshat, lured kids away from their parents and killed them only for him to then stuff their bodies into suits in order to hide them from the police. Alright, cool. Sure, but here's where I start asking questions, alright? If Afton is the one who killed the kids, forcing them to possess the animatronics, why do they hate you and not him? Like, putting things into perspective, if FNAF 1 has you play as a random ass security guard that we know for a fact isn't William, because dude's dead anyways, kinda, why does Freddy, Foxy, Chica, and Bonnie go out of their way to try and kill you? To me, it makes zero sense. It's William's fault, right? Kill him. What did I do? I'm just a night guard. Because in FNAF 2, when you get to the toy animatronics, it kinda sorta explains it. Like, apparently they have access to a police database, and they didn't ever get a proper night mode, which, alright, sure, we kind of have an explanation. I can make that make sense. But even still, the OG cast is there. I just don't understand why, if it's William Afton's fault that everything went south, you know, he's the main killer out here, why do they pick beef with random... I don't know. It's just little stuff like this that I personally can't comprehend. Now, don't get me wrong. I very easily could sit down and just nerd out on a couple hours of watching game theory and Matt Pat's lore explained in theory videos. However, one, I don't have enough time for that. Number two, I find it a lot more interesting just to check it out myself. Because let me be clear, I am not bashing FNAF in any way. I see you typing that comment. Stop it. I am not doing that. On the contrary, I fucking love it. I love that the game doesn't just tell you what happened. You have to discover what happened. I think that's the main reason I've always had this respect for FNAF. You see, I love games where the lore is one that you have to go out find, not where it just gives it to you on a silver platter. For those of you that don't know, Ark is notorious for this. You don't actually learn the story until you go out and find these explorer notes. So to see another game like FNAF actually force the player to go out and find this story, because if you didn't do any of the mini games, any of the side content, if you didn't actually look into some of these little posters and Easter eggs, me personally, I'd have zero clue what's going on besides angry robots attempt to kill a guy. But I honestly really enjoyed that it made its community go out and hunt for the story. That is awesome. But I'm allowed to have my questions, man. But look, man, I'm gonna be real. From the outside looking in, FNAF as a whole is a really interesting community. And while unlike some of you may have grown around this series, I never really got that chance. But to sit here now and enjoy the series as a whole that has truly grown and evolved, not just in its own right, but also with the community. I mean, how many games can you genuinely say you watch start from absolutely nothing, ground zero, to getting its own full-blown movie and a fan base so proud and dedicated? It spawned some of the best memes, fan art, and even cosplay that me personally I have ever seen. Like, here's a clip from Japan 2021 with the Springtrap cosplay. Tell me this isn't the coolest thing ever. Look at the steam, bro! Movement, it looks so good. Anyways, as FNAF continues to evolve and new games, books, and hopefully movies come out, because the first movie was absolutely amazing. I don't care who you are, and if you haven't seen it, that's a war crime. Honestly, I cannot wait to see what happens next in this FNAF community. It's fucking amazing. But with all that said, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye, everybody.